Presidents Trump and Putin did not reach an agreement on a ceasefire in Ukraine during their Alaska summit, highlighting their shared animosity. For the former president, they did, however, agree on something they both loathe: Joe Biden. During their private meeting and public appearance in Anchorage on Friday, both leaders blamed Mr. Biden for the war in Ukraine, ignoring the fact that Mr. Putin authorized forces to invade his neighbor and continues to authorize strikes against civilian targets. The Russian president complained that Mr. Biden failed to meet Russian demands prior to the full-scale invasion 3.5 years ago, and he played to the current president's ego by admitting that the war would not have occurred if Mr. Trump had still been in power in 2022. According to Mr. Trump, Mr. Putin secretly supported the fiction that Mr. Trump won the 2020 election only to have it stolen by Democrats. During a post-summit interview with Fox News, President Trump stated that he believes Vladimir Putin now respects our country. He didn't respect it under Biden. I can assure you he showed no respect for it. I was ecstatic when he claimed this would never have happened. All of those deaths could have been saved if they had a competent president. It was unusual, to say the least, to witness a sitting American president join a foreign tyrant accused of war crimes on stage in Anchorage to criticize a past U.S. president. However, it highlighted that Mr. Trump, with his more authoritarian instincts, finds more common ground with the dictatorial leader of Russia than he does with his own country's leaders. Despite expressing frustration with Mr. Putin over the Ukraine conflict, Mr. Trump has never publicly criticized the Russian leader as harshly as he does Mr. Biden, former President Barack Obama, and former President George W. Bush. Mr. Putin shares this viewpoint as well. He has long held grudges against Mr. Bush and Mr. Obama, frequently ranting during interviews and meetings about how he believes they abused him while in power. Mr. Putin, who has dealt with 5 American presidents during his quarter-century in power, has come to believe that they all, with the exception of Mr. Trump, are more or less same in their indifference for Russian issues. During their meeting in Alaska, the two presidents' common animosity for Mr. Biden provided an opportunity for enemy of my enemy convergence. While analysts thought it reflected Mr. Putin's real animosity, it also highlighted his proclivity for exploiting his foreign colleagues' ideals and vanity. Mr. Putin, a former KGB officer who was briefly in charge of directing agents during a Cold War tenure in East Germany, has long exhibited an ability to adjust to the specifics of the person sitting across from him. He does his research. He reads his briefs. He works out what's important to them. And he finds ways to curry favor when it serves his purposes. When Mr. Putin visited Strobe Talbot, a Russia expert who serves as President Bill Clinton's Deputy Secretary of State, he made a point of naming Fyodor Tyachev and Vladimir Mayakovsky, 2 Russian poets. Mr. Talbot studied at Yale and Oxford. He wanted his visitor to know that he'd done his homework. Mr. Talbot wrote in his memoir, when Mr. Bush, a guy known for his strong religion, first met Mr. Putin, a man not known for his deep faith, in Ljubljana, Slovenia, in 2001, the Russian made an impression on the American by telling him a story about a cross his mother had given him when he was young. Mr. Putin informed Mr. Bush that the cross was the only object that survived a fire that destroyed his dacha, indicating its significance. Mr. Putin was not wearing the crucifix at the time, but he did take it to Genoa, Italy, to show Mr. Bush. During their next meeting, Mr. Putin also played European politicians, at least in his early years in power. However, he also exploited their personal vulnerabilities when he believed it would offer him an edge. Knowing that Angela Merkel, Germany's chancellor at the time, was scared of dogs after being bitten, Mr. Putin brought his black Labrador to a 2007 meeting and had it sniff around his nervous visitor. Ms. Merkel called it a power move, later writing that Mr. Putin was enjoying the situation. Mr. Putin knows Mr. Trump's insecurities and desire for approval. During a visit in Japan in 2019, he listened as Mr. Trump claimed that Poland planned to name a military base Fort Trump and Israel planned to name a settlement Trump Heights. Mr. Putin responded jokingly, "Maybe they should just name Israel after you, Donald." Mr. Putin knew exactly what he was doing in Alaska when he expressed his hatred for Mr. Biden, complaining that the former president did not listen to Russian concerns in the months running up to the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. "I tried to persuade my former U.S. counterpart that we should not bring the situation to a point fraught with serious consequences in the form of hostilities, and I said directly at the time that it would be a big mistake," Mr. Putin said, alluding to his own choice to authorize the invasion. He went on to endorse Mr. Trump's counterfactual account of history. Without being asked today, we hear President Trump saying, "If I had been president, there would have been no war," Mr. Putin explained. "I think it would have been such. I certify this since President Trump and I have formed a typically very good, businesslike, and trustworthy relationship. It is difficult to say whether or not this is true." Mr. Trump claims that the war began with the 2022 invasion, but it actually began in 2014 when Mr. Putin captured Crimea and territory in eastern Ukraine. The war remained smoldering throughout Mr. Trump's first term, and Russia never backed down, even while Mr. Trump was in office. If it is true that Russia would not have launched a full-scale invasion in 2022 if Mr. Trump had still been president, Democrats argue that it would have been because he was willing to allow Mr. Putin to govern Ukraine without resorting to force. But Mr. Putin's comments on Friday was exactly what Mr. Trump wanted to hear. He has taken to labeling the Ukraine conflict Biden's war, not Putin's war, to deflect blame for failing to meet his campaign vow to cease the bloodshed within 24 hours of assuming office in January. During an interview with Sean Hannity on Fox following the Alaska encounter, Mr. Trump revealed more efforts by Mr. Putin to influence him behind closed doors. "You know, Vladimir Putin said something. One of the most interesting things," Mr. Trump explained. He remarked, "Your election was rigged because you have mail-in voting." He stated mail-in voting every election. He stated, "No country has mail-in voting. It is impossible to have mail-in voting with fair elections." According to Mr. Trump, Mr. Putin said, "You won that election by so much, so that's how he got it." He stated, "And if you had won, we would not have had a war. You'd have millions of people alive rather than dead." And he added, "And you lost it due to mail-in voting. The election was rigged." Many countries, including Russia, have allowed postal voting during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Trump himself has voted by mail. No independent investigation discovered substantial fraud that would have affected the outcome of the 2020 election.